My parents used to love having a saying, and actually, it was a song. You can't always get what you want. And yes, a lot of us Met fans wanted to bring back Mr. OMG himself, but he has departed the building. The folks over at SNY are going to debate who's going to have a better season, Juan Soto or Francisco Lindor. I would love to get into it, give you my opinion. I would love to get your opinion down in the comments. Plus, MLB Pipeline releases their New York Mets top 30 ranking. We're going to take a look at the top 10, tell you whether or not we agree or disagree. And there's one familiar name that is shockingly left off that list. We're going to get to that and so much more next on MetCast. What's going on, Met fans? So here we have it. Breaking news. Jose Iglesias and the San Diego Padres come to an agreement and on a minor league contract, which is a little surprising to me considering that there were wide speculation that he had multiple quote unquote major league offers, was reported by multiple people throughout the media, which clearly it was maybe true at the time, but Jose Iglesias settles for that minor league contract, similar to what he got last year from the New York Mets. Would probably be a priority call up for them. Really hurts the Mets in regard to their depth. Yes, I understand he's not on the team right now, but let's be honest. The New York Mets right now might be playing with a little bit of fire. Jose Iglesias, a career 300 plus hitter, provided that spark, that clubhouse presence that the New York Mets clearly had a lack of last season due to them, being 11 0 and 11 and having the poor start, and you name it, we all seen it last year. And when he was brought to the team, it kind of put them on that surge, brought that ease to the clubhouse, and so many players actually spoke about the kind of veteran leadership he was able to provide to this team that we're going to be looking outside. You're going to look for other teams. Hopefully, you get a healthy Starling Marte, even though he looks like he's a little bit behind on his rehab. Hopefully, Brandon Nimmo, who we're hearing is running at, 70 something percent. It was not the 91% that was reported earlier on. He's struggling with injury. Thank God you have the depth in a guy like Jesse Winker, but that initial veteran depth off the bench for the New York Mets is gone. Nick Madrigal, he was lost for the season. I thought the Mets may pivot away from him to potentially a Jose Iglesias, but I'm guessing they're liking what they're seeing out of Luis Angel Acuna and Brett Baty, who's been getting reps at second, third, and over at first base. You heard the quote yesterday from Brett Baty saying that he would be more than happy to be the utility guy for this team going forward. As long as he's got a spot on the team, that's really all he cares about. Yes, he's doing well throughout spring training and in the latter half of the season, very good in AAA, but we say it all the time. At the end of the day, it's not Major League Baseball spring training and also AAA. I'm hoping Brett Baty's not that quadruple A player. I liked him being that hitting tool type player coming out of high school. We signed him at the ripe age of 19, was allegedly the top hitting prospect in that whole class, but due to him being 1 year older than the rest of the class, he kind of fell to the New York Mets. So we need to hope that pans out similar to what happened to Mark Vientos last year. But yes, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you guys and say that, Jose Iglesias, he's not a good player. We didn't need him, all that BS. I was upset when I first saw the news because I felt like, at least it seemed like in the media, he was holding out. The New York Mets were eventually going to bring him in. You see him working out in the offseason. He's in his New York Mets tees. He's talking to the players, all the 9 yards. And now you see he's going to San Diego. And San Diego is a team that we may see late in the season, down the stretch, early in the postseason. It looks like they're on pace to be one of those wild card teams. And let's be honest, as it stands right now, in my opinion, I think the New York Mets are the second best team in the National League East behind the Atlanta Braves. A lot could change that, but heading into the season, they're on par to clash in a potential wild card round. They get the depth. They may trade him, who knows, but I'm not going to sit here and lie and pretend that I'm not upset. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Are you okay with the New York Mets just saying farewell to Jose Iglesias, moving on to their next options? going younger with what they're saying. But for me, I would prefer the proven bat. You know what? You bring him in here, you hold on to a Brett Baty, you see what kind of play he gets, and if it's not working out, you always had that veteran leadership. Hell, if he was willing to accept a minor league contract, I'm a little surprised the New York Mets didn't jump at that, because you could still have the Brett Baty's, Luis Angel Acuñas being the backups up at the major league level, which I actually think Acuna is going to be starting at the minor league level. But it kind of rips that away. But that's what we have in regard to Jose Iglesias. Again, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Now I want to get over to a video that just dropped on SNY Mets. They're talking about whether or not Francisco Lindor or Juan Soto are prepped to have the better season. We'll give it a listen and we'll give you our take next.
All right, Emmanuel, this is kind of like a trick question here, so just listen to the wording very carefully. Blank will have a better season than Juan Soto.
Blank is Francisco Lindor. I think he's going to have a much better season than Juan Soto.
Much better, wow.
There's evidence here, too. Lindor's first season with the Mets, he came in, struggled mightily. Then his buddy Javi Baez comes in. Lindor gets more comfortable. He relaxes. Final couple of months of the season, 800 OPS, and he plays at like a 40-homer pace. Last year, Jose Iglesias comes in May 31st, loosens up the locker room. Lindor was struggling mightily, but there's not the same attention on Lindor as a leader. Now, he's a captain-type guy, but I don't view him as that guy who, loves the spotlight. So once Lindor had some pressure taken...
Oh, I disagree with that so much. I'm not saying him having a worse season. I mean, he was second in MVP voting. So there's obviously an argument to be made. Do you count defensive statistics in that? Or are they only counting offense? But let's be honest, Lindor not liking the big spot. Hello, Philly. Hello. What are we talking about? Doesn't love the big spot. Come on, that's not fair.
Off of him, rest of the season he plays like an MVP, 935 OPS, and plays at a 40-homer pace. So there's evidence here. Now Juan Soto is the alpha in the room. Lindor doesn't have to worry about all that stuff. I think Lindor has a much better season.
Yeah, I love that answer. Also, obviously hitting behind him, protecting Lindor. I love that answer, but the correct answer was no one will have a better season than Juan Soto.
I agree with Sal there. I don't think anybody's going to have a better season than Juan Soto. Let's also keep this in mind. With the Yankees last year, Juan Soto was pretty much had nobody in front of him. Yes, he had a great Aaron Judge behind him, but there was no Lindor to be on base constantly, that stolen base threat. We saw what Anthony Volpe did earlier in the season, but that clearly teetered off, and they really had no leadoff hitter in front of Juan Soto. I think Juan Soto is going to clearly have the better season, in my opinion, solely because he's going to have bigger RBI chances. I could see him having one of those 120 RBI season. I absolutely could, especially since the New York Mets also have a pretty strong bottom half of the lineup. If it was up to me, I would consider batting a Jeff McNeil in the 9-hole, get that secondary leadoff hitter around the order, maybe having him there, maybe have Jose Siri in the 8-hole. And I'm excited to see what Francisco Alvarez does in regard to this team now. Obviously, the National League is way stronger in regard to pitching, in my opinion, than the American League. Yes, you have the Yankees arms out there, you have Seattle, but outside of that, it's really not that strong. You have crazy pitching staffs out west with, I mean, think about San Diego, the Dodgers, even Arizona adding a Corbin Burns. You have Phillies pitching staff with Zach Wheeler. You have Atlanta Braves. There are a lot of great pitching staffs throughout the National League, so maybe that might hurt a little bit. But I think overall, Juan Soto is going to have the better season. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments, if you agree with me or not. Maybe you guys think Lindor is going to have the better season, but I don't see a lot. Look, I get a lot of people that mentioned to me this over on X saying, well, look at Lindor, his first season with the Mets. This is completely different. Juan Soto, yes, he is that alpha type, but he's not the leader, rah-rah, like Francisco Lindor is able to do. When a pitcher is struggling, he goes over and puts his arm around him. He works out with the guys in the off season, helping out the Mark Vientos and the Brett Baty in the past off seasons, taking on that leadership role. I think it's clear as day Juan Soto is going to help Lindor, but I think overall Juan Soto is poised to have a bigger season. Again, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Maybe you disagree with me. I want to get to one more thing. MLB Pipeline released their top 10 prospects or top 30 prospects in regard to the Mets farm system. I put them on a nice graphic for us all. Let's give it a little peek and let's take a look at the one guy who a lot of people are like, how is he not top 10? And I'm going to explain it to you really quickly next. So here you have it, MLB Pipeline's top 10 prospects in regard to the New York Mets. Run down it really quick. You got Brandon Sproat, Jet Williams, Carson Beige, Ryan Clifford, Nolan McLean, Jonah Tung, Luis Angel Acuna, Jesus Baez, Elian Pena, and Ronnie Mauricio. Now, whether or not you want to still call these two guys Acuna and Mauricio prospects, they list them because odds are they're going to be starting out in AAA, and I believe they're both still rookie eligible, so that's why they're on there. I don't have an issue with the top 4 in regard to this. I'm a little surprised by Carson Beige being so high, but he was a first round pick. Very recently, 19th overall, I believe it was. The Mets are very high on him. Obviously, Jet Williams transitioning from that shortstop position, probably going to be the future center fielder of this team. But what is the one name you notice that is not on this list? And it is Drew Gilbert, who came in, I believe, at number 11, which I'm not surprised. He had an injury-plagued season last year, so which probably hurt his stock, but I think it's also a credit. Look at all these pitchers that are now inside the New York Mets top 10, which we haven't seen in forever. Let's be real. The New York Mets stopped developing pitchers after the Matt Harveys and Noah Syndergaards and Zach Wheelers and Steven Matz. They just stopped developing pitchers. So it's great to see a Noah McLean, a Jonah Tung, all these guys starting to come through. Brandon Sproat, you have 3 of your top 6 prospects are pitchers, and we can't forget about Zach Scott, who got hurt last year. He came up, he's got the Tommy John, Christian Scott, sorry, the former GM I'm thinking about. But another guy who you got coming back who's going to be a top prospect heading into next year, you have 4 of the top pitching prospects in your minor league system, which is a great thing to see. And one thing that's very impressive, which we figured was going to happen, Elian Pena is already at the ripe age of 16, I believe, a top 10 prospect. That's how high these scouts value him. And they think he's going to be a great player. A shortstop coming out of the Dominican Republic, was widely regarded as the number 1 international prospect outside of Roki Sasaki. Of course, I always say that because in my mind, Roki Sasaki is not really an international free agent. It's more of the international guys, which was him. And I believe he's number 1. I think he's going to be great down the line. The New York Mets are stacked when it comes to their farm system. And it's good to see because for years we did not see that. And now that we're starting to see prices of pitching be so high, the prices of bats, look at guys last trade deadline, what players were going for. It was astounding what they were going for. So the New York Mets developing, they're starting to do that Dodgers model that Steve Cohen preached about when he first purchased a team. And yes, it takes years to do that, but the New York Mets are finally there. Guys, thanks so much for sticking around. Smash that like button, hit that sub, turn that notification on so you never miss any of the New York Mets news. Thanks so much for sticking around. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you guys think. I use it as a forum to go back and forth with you. And as Mets content continues to come in, I'll be sure to update you. As always, let's go Mets. Peace.